tires. That is the highest amount offered by any one sponsor of this entire race series, which there are many.
So the track conditions are good?
Track conditions look okay. Riders do look good. They're ready to go. These guys got to be hot. They've been waiting for quite some time.
So at this point, as WLRN continues our exclusive coverage of the second day of the Grand Prix, we are about to turn it over to the track announcer, Richard Lee Chambers. Richard, as the crescendo mounts, it's all yours.
Start of the event. From the second row, jumping up into third place, Farmer will lead the way. Then the number 7 machine of Russell. They battle up along the waterfront, headed down to turn number 3 here on lap number 1. But number 10, Farmer, jumping into the early lead as we battle here on the first lap. Now a change in the lead, and Sadowski has grabbed the lead. Farmer in second, Russell in third, Thomas Stevens in fourth. In fifth place is number 12, Michael Barnes. In sixth position appears to be the number 14 machine of Larry Schwartzbach. We'll have to wait and see. Sadowski grabs the lead as they dive under the Nissan sign there, headed off to turn number 7. They make that big left-hand turn now and head back toward Biscayne Boulevard. Already we can see Kevin Rinsell working his way up through the grid. He started way back on row number 7. Through the chicane there at the Howard Johnson's restaurant in turn number 9. It's David Sadowski, your race leader. Farmer in second place, and then the number 7 Kawasaki of Russell, the points leader coming into this round. Down Biscayne Boulevard, up around 120 miles an hour. They peel off into turn number 11. David Sadowski, your leader, number 5. Then Farmer, number 10. Number 7, Russell. Then number 55, Stevens. Number 21, Choate. Number 80, Roberts. Number 29, that will be Kevin Blaze. Then the rest of the field all tightly packed, looking for Kevin Rinsell as he battles his way through the field now up to about 12th position here on the first lap. Up front, the action hot and heavy, but the Vance and Hines Yamaha of Sadowski with just about a 10 bike length lead here on lap number 2. Sadowski using all of the racetrack as he tries to get some breathing room between himself and the number 10 machine of Choate. Running in the 5th place position, losing touch with this 4-rider freight train as they work their way under the bridge over there in turn number 7 under the Nissan bridge, accelerating toward turn number 7. One rider going down into the hay bales, it appeared. We'll have to wait and see for a little bit clearer view of exactly what went on there. The leaders all make it through, and we are looking for, yes, there's Choate trying to get an eye on the incident there in turn number 7. Your leader off of Biscayne Boulevard into turn number 11 is still Sadowski, your leader. Number 10, Farmer, and Russell in third place, number 7. Then number 55, John Choate, number 51. Then the number 80 machine of Roberts, followed by Conway, number 45, and Rinsell working his way now up into 7th position, and right behind him, the number 1 machine of, let's see, number 1, that's Zampak. Zampak, who makes his way up into the top 10. He and Rinsell have charged through the field here early on. Still trying to get a number on that rider that crashed there, going into turn number 7. Your leader working his way out onto the back portion of the racetrack here on lap number 2. And now we get the word that the riders around the racetrack have not changed position in the last half a lap or so. And now looking down at start-finish, we see Bob Lemming has got the red flag in his hand. Bob Lemming has pulled the red flag out of the stand, and he will show it to the riders over at the end of the back straightaway into Biscayne Boulevard, diving into turn number 10. It's Sadowski who holds the lead as they dive onto pit road. Red flag out here after only about 3 laps of competition. So we'll try to get the reason for the red flag, but right now the riders all pulling in and stopping John Choate, number 51. Moving up to just across the start-finish line. rest of the field making their way into the pit area. There's Rinsell, who had worked his way into the top 10 along with Scotty Zampak. Now let me tell you, after they work their way through the pack that hard, they are going to have to go right back to their original starting position and get it underway again. The riders, after having that 3 laps of competition, are now going to have to go back and start all over again. As we are trying to get the reason for the red flag, we understand there's some problem out on the racetrack, so we'll get you that information as soon as we have it. But right now, red flag of the 600cc Yokohama Supersport event, so there will be a restart, probably using the original grid position. So we'll just have to wait and see exactly what the determination is. But right now they are checking on the situation back there in the turn 7 portion of the racetrack.
Now the red flag means
that they basically stopped the race. They'll restart the race at the point that it was stopped.
What was seen with this particular mishap? They have body slamming, there are all these different phrases. Unfortunately, it comes into play.
Well, what you saw as soon as this rider went down is a waving yellow flag is displayed, and then
we're going to see a replay of this.
Okay.
In a moment.
Here it comes now. As you can see, this rider loses his front wheel, and you can see him sliding out. Now the bike gets away from him. He's okay right here, but once that bike hits the wall out here in the hay bales, he went right along with it. Now more than likely this rider is okay. He's probably just making sure that everything is working out right before he tries to get up, and I'm sure the first aid crews will.
In my 2 or 3 day immersion in this sport, it seems what is most vulnerable: the clavicle, the collarbone, the hands.
That's right. That's right.
The helmets, of course, are a saving grace, but
right.
And this is serious, though.
Sure it is.
The procedure at this point, standard.
Basically just to stabilize the rider out on the racetrack, get him in the back of the ambulance, get him back to a trained doctor back at the track hospital, and they'll check him over, make sure he's okay. These guys are in no hurry to clear the racetrack. This is the most important thing out there right now, is make sure that rider's okay.
Doug, now a red flag means that once the race begins for the second time, do they start at the point the 2 or 3 laps in, or is it do they line up on the grid and go again?
Yeah, in certain situations it's different, but they basically regrid the riders as they were when the red flag was thrown. They'll regrid these guys out. You can see now the track workers are pulling the bike off the track. But these riders, they're just topping off their gas tanks, making sure everything's all set on the bikes, and they'll be restarting this race, and this won't slow them down at all.
And the other riders, how are they affected by this?
Not at all. Not at all. These guys are racers. They deal with this every race. Someone's going down. Someone's going to get hurt. It's accepted.
It's an occupational hazard,
absolutely,
perhaps.
Absolutely.
Do most races, do you find as you travel the circuit, do most of the accidents happen within the first 2 or 3 laps, or when riders are trying to assert position and authority, or in the latter stages?
That's really hard to say. The beginning of a race brings on certain situations just as it does towards the end of the race. At the beginning of a race, these guys are really dicing for position, trying to see what the other riders are going to do, trying to see what kind of hand they're going to play. But as the race goes on, the tires start to get real hot, a little bit less predictable. The riders start to lose their concentration on what's going on out there on the track, and it really takes a wear and tear on the machine and the rider. And chances of something happening later on in the race are just as prominent as they are at the beginning of the race.
So hopefully our thoughts are with this young man. They're tough.
Kevin's been down before. I'm sure he'll be back out there soon.
And we talked with Kevin earlier today.
That's right. That's right.
He's a very nice young man. As a matter of fact, I had asked him, one of the questions I posed to Kevin had to deal with fear.
Well, basically, we're really concentrating heavily on the 750 and 600 Supersport. The Super Bike Ride was just more track time. With the limited schedule that we have this weekend, we added the Super Bike program. We got a sponsor for the bike at the last minute, and we added the super bike basically for more time on the racetrack.
This is a super bike, isn't it?
No, this right here is a 750 Supersport. The 600 Supersport is right there, and the super bike is retired for the weekend. It's in the trailer.
Oh, well, they all look super to me. That shows
Okay.
what I know. That's why we call upon you to sort of start back here, and we're going to sweep through some of the specifics of this particular bike. Would you do that?
Okay, very good.
Let's just sort of rear end and up we go.
Okay, starting with the exhaust system. We replaced the original exhaust system for a racing exhaust system, which is half titanium and half stainless steel. The titanium section is for lighter weight. Then we start with the tailpiece. The tailpiece is all molded out of one piece of fiberglass versus the ABS plastic of the original parts. It's considerably lighter and much quicker to remove. We have 3 fasteners that removes the tailpiece, and we can remove it virtually in seconds to get to the fuel tank and to get to the jetting. Here we have more fiberglass, which is very, very lightweight. All of our fiberglass on the motorcycle being the front fairing, this midsection, and the tailpiece reduces the bike by about 14 pounds. Here we have the rear brake. We have our footrest. All this is all very lightweight equipment. This is all replaced from the original equipment. Inside, underneath the gas tank, we have basically stock carburetors. We're only allowed to change the jetting components in the carburetors. Basically our hand controls, all of our hand controls are standard. On this side of the motorcycle, we have a steering stabilizer, which basically keeps us from getting a little bit of a head shake. What else? We remove the speedometer, we remove all the instrument lights, and basically we go over the motorcycle real thoroughly to remove as much weight as we possibly can.
Kevin, this is all done for speed, correct? What about safety?
Well, safety, our biggest thing right now is tires. We want obviously the softest and stickiest tires we can get to try to keep the bike on 2 wheels.
Okay, that's your safety factor then, would be the tires.
Our safety factor definitely would be the tires.
Kevin, we were talking yesterday and you had mentioned that you spent an inordinate amount of time removing 5 pounds. How long did that take?
Yes, sir. I spent about 3 weeks worth of 8 or 10 hour days every single day removing just 5 pounds.
And the difference on the track?
And the difference on the track would be in acceleration. The more weight you remove, the better the bike accelerates. Adversely, the more weight you remove, you change the handling characteristics of the bike as well, so it becomes a little bit harder to hang on to.
Well, while I have you, Kevin, let's do this. Leather, ventilation, safety features.
Yes, leather suit, padding here, padding here, padding here in the shoulders. I wear a back protector at all times. Obviously, we wear leather gloves, full leather gloves. We have leather boots as well. Mm-hmm. We wear the latest Arai helmet. My Arai helmet is laying around here somewhere. Probably in excess,
find it.
in excess of anywhere from $1,500 to upwards of $4,000 worth of protective gear.
What do you do with your fear on the track, Kevin?
What do I do with my fear on the track? I leave it in the pits.
Is that true?
Yes, it's true.
Does it ever surface?
Hopefully no.
Yeah, I had one rider say that only when he goes by another mishap, that sort of affects his driving prowess for just a few seconds.
No, it doesn't affect me whatsoever. I see another incident and it's just gone as fast as I see it.
If someone said to you, Kevin, as I asked another rider, if you were told at this very moment you cannot ride again, what would you miss the most?
Oh, that's really hard to say. That's very hard to say. The thrill, the camaraderie with all of my other friends here, the excitement, just the speed. I love it.
So you're telling me you're not going to miss it. You're going to stay with it?
Oh, I'm going to stay with it.
And this track and this weekend and everything?
This track is super. The layout is great. I love the track. It's a real rider's course. It's a real test of stamina, and I hope we'll be back.
Thanks, Kevin.
Okay, you're welcome.
At this point, we have nothing further to report on the driver. Doug, you know this young man. We had an opportunity to interview him this morning. As soon as possible, we'll pass on some information about his condition. In the meantime, the race goes on.
That's right. They're out there now on their warm-up lap. Every time they come off the track, they want to get back out, scuff those tires in, warm up a little bit more, and that's what they're out there doing now. Sees the front pack guys coming around the last turn now, moving back to their grid positions and getting this race started up again.
Part of the delay, they had to replace the hay bales, and the tire walls had to be restacked, and that's all done. So we will continue. I think what we have seen just a few moments ago with that mishap is it not true that these riders are more accustomed, I think I mentioned it to you earlier, Doug, to what's known as the wide open spaces? So this special challenge of a closed street circuit.
Yeah, an example of something like this happening. As you noticed from that replay footage that we saw earlier, when Kevin went down, the bike got away from him and he was on the ground, and you're pretty much safe sliding along the ground. Not too much happens there. Your leathers protect you pretty well. The problem is when you start hitting solid barriers. And on a street course like this, it's really tough to give these guys enough what we call run-out room. And if you had a lot of run-out room, Kevin would have just safely slid to a stop, gotten up, and walked away from this type of incident. But that's just one of the hazards here, and I think Miami did a great job at taking every precaution available to make this a safe racetrack, and I'm sure Kevin will be okay and out here racing soon.
And before they increase their RPMs, kudos to the support systems. The rescue squad outdid their job quickly,
absolutely.
Professionally, and the race goes on. So let's try it again. I'm about to turn it over to track announcer Richard Lee Chambers as we continue with this 20-lap, one of the features today in downtown Miami, the course that encompasses Bicentennial Park and Biscayne Boulevard. Off they go.
Underway. This time it's Thomas Stevens with a good jump. Stevens, number 55, and number 10, Farmer, getting off the line very well as they funnel up by the turn 3 area and head off down to turn number 4. Waiting for the leaders to work their way into the next viewing area, and it's Farmer, number 10, the leader, number 5, Sadowski in second, number 55, Stevens in third, number 7, Russell in fourth, John Choate, number 21, in fifth. It appears John Hopperstead has moved up into sixth place as they work their way around the racetrack here on the first lap of our restart. 15 laps now make up the remaining distance of our 600cc Supersport main event. Your leader, Jeff Farmer from Longwood, Florida, on the KP Racing Yamaha, being challenged by the Vance & Hines Yamaha of Sadowski. Farmer will lead the way through the chicane there in turn 9. A pair of Vance & Hines machines trying to chase down the KP Racing Yamaha in this Supersport competition. This is the exciting, close competition we have always been able to see in Supersport competition, but Farmer leads the way as they peel off into turn number 10. Into turn 10, now out of 10 across the start-finish line, out of turn 11, and number 5, Sadowski, tries the inside. Stevens holds him off as they flash into turn number 2. It's still number 10, Farmer, your leader. Sadowski again tries the inside. Thomas Stevens in third place, holding off number 7 as they battle just ahead of Hopperstead now, who has put the pass on number 21, John Choate, as they battle for the 5th and 6th place positions. Sadowski braking hard to the inside will grab the lead from Farmer. David Sadowski, using all the racetrack, grabs the lead from Jeff Farmer. They battle out of turn number 6, heading up toward turn number 7. Farmer tries the inside. Sadowski right across his front wheel, grabs the lead back. Farmer wanted it on the inside. Sadowski slammed the door as they work their way up to turn number 7. Good battle going on right behind the two riders battling for the lead. Thomas Stevens, number 55, trying to hold off number 7, Russell. Russell, who came into this event with the points lead, could be having a little bit of problem staying up with the Yamahas as they accelerate off the corner. The ZX6 left just a little bit under acceleration. Into the back straightaway, and Sadowski maintains his lead position. Farmer all over his back tires. They peel off into turn number 11. We'll get the clocks going on that lead battle. A 4-rider freight train, a little bit of a gap back to Danny Roberts, number 80. And then John Hopperstead in the 6th place position. John Choate in 7th. But the lead battle, a 4-rider breakaway. Then the number 80 machine of Roberts. So Danny Roberts, even broken collarbone and all, running very well up there in 5th place. Hard on the brakes. They dive into turn number 5. Sadowski holding the lead. Farmer tries the inside. Sadowski has the better track position, and Farmer has to give ground. They battle up through turn number 6, now heading down to the fast right-hand portion of the racetrack. Now they go hard left through the turn 7 sweeper. Sadowski putting a little bit of room between himself and Farmer, and now Thomas Stevens will move up to challenge Farmer for 2nd place. through turn number 7, down under the Camel GT bridge, through the chicane and onto Biscayne Boulevard. Sadowski, the Vance and Hines Yamaha, grabbing the lead. Farmer gets wide and loses ground to the race leader as they battle down the Biscayne Boulevard portion of the racetrack into turn number 10. It is David Sadowski, your leader. Farmer closes up under braking. They sweep by. Farmer dives to the inside. Farmer grabs the lead as they work their way up across the finish. Farmer, number 10, with the block pass here in turn number 11, has grabbed the lead. Sadowski now sail in second place, trying to get back in the point position. Farmer with a daring pass here in turn number 11, grabbing the lead from the Yamaha rider of Sadowski, who had the lead down that back chute. But Farmer, riding a daring race here in turn 11, manages to grab the lead. Through the backside of the section, working lap number 4. It's still at 4-rider breakaway, a little bit of a gap back to Danny Roberts. And now we look for the number 1 and number 19 machines of Zampak and the number 19 machine of Rinsell, who have clawed their way back through the field, and now they approach the top 10 as the laps wind on here, approaching the halfway mark. Up front, it is number 10 Farmer, who has grabbed the lead, and just about a 10 bike length lead it is as they work through turn number 9. Down Biscayne Boulevard, Farmer, after having a little bit of problems in turn 9 earlier, doing a great job this time, and he holds about a full second advantage over the Vance and Hines Yamahas as they peel into turn number 10. Farmer with the lead out of turn number 11, up across the start-finish line, and number 5 Sadowski now will feel the heat of his teammate number 55 and the number 7 machine. Up into 5th place, the number 1 Zampak, along with him Rinsell, number 19. So they have worked very quickly through the top 10 and are now battling for 5th and 6th place. Hopefully these riders are going to be able to move up and close in on this lead pack, because they really came through traffic quickly. Farmer continuing to lead here, working lap number 6. Sadowski in 2nd place. Thomas Stevens in 3rd. 4th place, the number 7 machine of Scott Russell. Then a little bit of a gap back to the number 1 machine, Scotty Zampak, right on his back tire, number 19, Kevin Rinsell. They worked their way up into the turn 7 area, just about 2.5 seconds back from that lead battle. Through the chicane in turn number 9, and Farmer is disappearing. Farmer starting to pull away. Down Biscayne Boulevard on the brakes into turn number 10. Through 10 into turn number 11. Farmer using all the racetrack. A lap time of 1:19.29 for Farmer, as he has put a 2nd and 2/10 on that 3-rider battle for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th place positions. 5th and 6th place positions, that is, Zampak and number 19. Then another good little 4-rider freight train with number 80 Roberts, Condra number 45, John Choate number 21, really mixing it up in a great little battle there, just back in the top 10. Farmer, your leader, on the number 10 machine. Sadowski continuing to lose ground as the 3 riders battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. Sadowski on the number 5 machine, able to hold off his teammate, number 55, Thomas Stevens, and both of these riders appear to be holding up Scott Russell, even though the Yamahas have a little bit better acceleration off the corner. The Kawasaki still comes on very strong at the end of the straightaway. They work their way through Biscayne Boulevard. Lap 6 completed, working lap number 7 next time by. Farmer with almost a 1.5 on the rest of the field. 1:19.29 the last time by for Farmer, and he is really sailing as he works his way into turn number 11. The gap 1st to 2nd place will get it this time, and it is 2.2 seconds, so he is pulling ahead of this 3-way freight train. A little bit of a gap back to Rinsell and the number 1 Zampak as they trade that 5th place position here in turn 11. Rinsell got a little bit wide. Zampak stuffed him through on the inside. Now Danny Roberts in 7th, number 80. Then John Condra, number 45, number 21 Choate, and then Mike Luke, number 112, bring up the tail end of the top 10 as they battle for positions into turn number 2 onto the Campbell GT Bridge. Your leader continuing to be Farmer as he is stretching it out almost 3.5 seconds over the rest of that 4-rider breakaway. In fact, Farmer really on the gas and gaining ground at the rate of about 0.4 of a second a lap. And that is a lot of ground to make up on one of these Supersport machines. They worked their way down Biscayne Boulevard, and very shortly they're going to be up to the very back part of the grid. Farmer, number 10, peels off into turn number 10. And up to turn 11, again, the lap time for Farmer, 1:19.55. Now 55 has moved ahead of Sadowski. Thomas Stevens from Cape Coral putting the pass on his Vance and Hines teammate has moved up to second place. There's that great battle for fifth place, and Kevin Rinsell has the better of number 1 Zampak that time by in that battle for 5th and 6th. Then in 7th, Roberts, number 80. John Condon, number 45, in the 8th place position. Then a number 112 machine of Will Luke. And one rider into the pits, number 21, Gary DeLucio, the Dave Harrell Racing Yamaha, pulling it into the pits as we approach the halfway mark, but some kind of problem. And Dave Harrell, number 21, is calling it a day. The Dave Harrell Racing Yamaha 600 out of the competition here this afternoon. Roberts on the number 80 machine continues to lead the Condren freight train as they work their way around the backside of the course. Roberts riding with a broken collarbone, and this is his return to competition, holding off and waiting till the very last minute to try to give the collarbone as much time as possible to heal, and he is really sailing back there in the 7th place position. Your leader up to the start finish line. Lap time for Farmer, a 1:20.28. One rider going down in the turn 2 area. We're going to try to get a number on the rider. He is trying to drag his machine off of the racetrack. The rider is up and okay. It's Dennis Nubis, number 110. The rookie expert Nubis scrambles over the chain link fence after he had dragged his machine to the edge of the racetrack. Halfway flags being shown here at start finish, but Dennis Nubis doing a great job of first dragging his motorcycle to the edge of the racetrack and then diving across the top of the chain link fence. So the rookie expert Nubis out of it here this afternoon after crashing in turn number 2. Farmer continuing to lead, adding to his advantage each and every lap. Now the gap first to second place up to almost 3.5 seconds. Another rider on the pit road. It's John Choate, number 51. John Choate retiring from the event, running as high as 5th place early on. John Choate, number 51, has pulled it onto pit road, and the folks from K10 will give him a little drink there along pit road. The official sports break here at the Campbell Motorcycle Grand Prix. But a tough break for Choate. He is out of it here this afternoon. Your race leader, the number 10 machine, second place, number 55. Now a change in third place as Russell has chiseled his way by Sadowski and taken over third place. So Russell trying to make it a 3-time trip to Victory Circle as he works his way around the racetrack. Now we see another rider crashing over on the backside of the course. The rider is up and okay. They're stacking hay bales in front of the bike back there in the turn 4 area, we suspect. We'll try to get you a number in a minute, but the rider is up and okay, but he firmly planted that motorcycle on the outside of the racetrack. The corner working crew scrambling to get hay bales to cover the machine for the remaining 7 or 8 laps of this event. Your race leader, Farmer, number 10, has stretched out his lead to almost 4 seconds. In second place, the number 55 machine of Thomas Stevens. Moving up to third, Scott Russell on the number 7 ZX6 Kawasaki. And then the 4th place machine is the number 5 entry of David Sadowski. That's the way they stand here. A fabulous battle going on right behind that top 4 riders, with number 1 Zampak and number 19 continuing to trade position. Again, they show the waving yellow flag in turn number 2. And number 10 Farmer takes a peep over the right-hand side of the track and he sees the number 110 machine of Nuba still laying there just at the edge of the racetrack. Stevens in second place, now under fire from number 7, Russell. Russell right on the back tire of Thomas Stevens. They battle up to turn number 4. The leader already out of turn 4, headed down to turn number 5. The battle for second continuing as Farmer disappears. A lap time for Farmer that last time around 1:20.15. So he slowed down just a little bit as he has pulled out quite a lead. Number 10, the Longwood, Florida rider on the KP Racing Yamaha, showing the way here this afternoon. I know this is making those 17 kids that he brought to the racetrack mighty happy. And right now he is just starting to pick up the tail end of the field, so he'll be lapping through traffic here very quickly as he works his way down Biscayne Boulevard. Farmer, number 10, into turn number 11. This will be lap number 10 with just about 5 laps to go. That is a guess from my part because the action has been really hot. Stevens across the stripe in second. Then the number 7 machine of Russell, followed by Sadowski in the 4th place position. Then in 5th place, the number 1 machine of Zampak, followed in 6th by number 19, Kevin Rinsell, as they roll across the start-finish stripe. The gap back from the 6th place machine to the 7th place machine of Condren now as he rolls into turn number 11. Condren number 45 and Mike Luke number 112 getting the better of number 80, Danny Roberts, who is possibly starting to feel the pressure of that broken collarbone, and he is dropping back just a little bit. Number 105, Kevin Noonan, shows as the 9th place position here as we have just about 4 laps to go. Russell looking for a way through as he camps out right on the tailpiece of Thomas Stevens. Less than a bike length separating those riders as they peel off into turn number 4. Your leader, Farmer, working his way through traffic as Thomas Stevens continues to hold down the 2nd place position. But Russell right there on his back tire making things difficult. Slippery debris flag being shown the riders as they head off down to turn number 2. Dennis Nubis' machine still there in the outside portion of the racetrack. Looking for the number 10 machine to get an exact fix on how far ahead he is of the rest of the field. Kevin Noonan, the 9th place rider, flashing by, and now it appears that Farmer has worked his way up into the top 12 as he works his way right up on the back tire of number 92. Farmer dives to the inside of Stan Pollock, number 92. Across start finish, here's that battle for the 2nd and 3rd place. Russell gets it completely sideways and loses some ground. Waving yellow flag again in turn number 2. That means no passing in that area, so they're going to have to wait till they get around the rest of the racetrack before attempting any kind of maneuver. Zampak in 5th place, the number 1 machine, followed very closely by Kevin Rinsell. Those riders charged up through the field and really had a ride going and got all the way up to 5th place before they sort of ran out of people to pass. Now the gap between the top 4 and the 5th and 6th place machines right at 7 seconds, so it doesn't appear that they're going to be able to catch up any of the distance that remains here. Only about 3 or 4 laps to go. We're watching now to see when the AMA starter prepares that white flag, but right now this race is all Farmers to be had or given away, but he is out front and taking no prisoners, pulling away from the rest of the field now with almost a 4-second lead over the rest of the competitors in 600cc Supersport racing. Farmer right up on the back tire of Kevin Noonan, and now the white flag out. The white flag out for Kevin Noonan as he is passed by the number 10 machine of Farmer. White flag out, 1 lap to go. Stevens in 2nd place on the number 55 machine. Russell will have 1 final lap. Now Stevens gets it completely sideways. Stevens almost throws it away and around the inside of Stevens, number 7, attempting the pass. We're going to watch this very closely on the monitor. Number 10, your leader. Here comes the number 55 and number 7 machines. It appears Stevens has enough to hold him off, but a big slide. Stevens is off the course. Thomas Stevens takes evasive maneuver and crashes on the outside, the bike down. He almost saved it, then he just barely clipped the tire barrier. Thomas Stevens crashing here on the last lap. That will move up number 7, Russell, into second place. What a turn of events. Now they fire the number 55 machine, and Thomas Stevens is back underway. Where will he come in? We'll have to wait and see. White flag out here at start finish, and there goes second place through the chicane, waiting for the number 10 machine, Farmer, to make his way down here. But a big slide puts Stevens way out of position, and he crashes out of the event, gets it back up, and is restarted. Here's your leader, Farmer. Farmer takes the win. A big wheelie from Farmer as he carries the wheelie down to turn number 2. Second place, Scott Russell will end up in second place. Third place rider will be the number 5 machine of Sadowski. Then in the fourth place position, it'll be number 1, Scotty Zampak. In the fifth position will be number 19. And then in sixth position, number 55, Thomas Stevens, after crashing, picks it back up and puts it into sixth place position. So an amazing performance with the second place rider crashing there on the very last lap. He managed to pick the bike up and restart. Here's the seventh place position, number 45, John Condren. Then Mike Luke, number 112, up across the start finish line. Then the number 80, Danny Roberts. What a courageous ride turned in by Roberts, as he will finish in the 8th place position unofficially. Number 80, Roberts, as we mentioned, riding with a broken collarbone, managing to put that bike in the top 10. Waiting for the rest of the riders in the top 10 to make their way by. Number 102, that's Nude Heston, rolling by in 9th position. And in 10th position, up to take the checkered flag, still waiting for the 10th place machine to make its way up here. Unless that was number 130, Jim Erickson. I don't really think that he was that far up in the field. We'll just have to wait and see, though. But we get the top 9, I'm sure. Farmer celebrating his win over there along the turn 9 area of the racetrack, popping a big wheelie down Biscayne Boulevard. Taking the win here in this afternoon's Yokohama Supersport event. And now a 3-time victory as we send it down to Victory Circle and Bob Weil. Bob, take it away.
Thank you very much. What a great race we just had there. That was the Yokohama Tire 600 Supersport race here at the Miami Camo Motorcycle Grand Prix of Miami. It was incredible. We've got the winners coming to the winner's circle now. Let me make a short announcement. Well, everybody in the ceremonies for the next...
Doug, I don't know about you, but I have immense respect not only for Jeff Farmer, who was in command totally in that race, but also for Thomas Stevens, number 55. He went for the gold. I like that in a rider.
Well, most of these riders out there have the same mentality, but Thomas Stevens certainly showed that today with that last lap push, and ended up pushing a little bit too hard. But if you notice, when he went off the track, he hopped right back on that machine to finish that race.
Jeff Farmer, really not a surprise. He's won at Daytona, comes from Central Florida, and certainly a premier rider.
Well, Jeff Farmer is definitely one of the top, what we call a privateer out there. The next couple finishers behind him are all factory support riders. And Jeff really creates havoc out there in the field.
Good race.
Certainly a good race. Our number 1 position went to Jeff Farmer. Number 2 went to Scott Russell.
Scott Russell.
And, of course, 3rd place went to
Sadowski. David
right.
Sadowski.
That's right.
And it's always a magic moment, isn't it? This was a race that was red flagged because of an unfortunate mishap involving number 29, Kevin Blaze. Hopefully Kevin will be fine. We'll update our audience.
Kevin will be just fine. We're taking a look now at Jeff Farmer, Dave Sadowski, and Scott Russell down there in the winner's circle.
David Sadowski.
Giving each other a little bit of congratulations.
As it should be. As we take a look at the crowd, I don't know if we've really mentioned Doug, but South Florida, Miami has responded positively to this two-day event.
Well, the crowd here is great.
I would probably say we're nearing, or we've had close to 50,000 for the 2 days. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this up, but first whet your appetite to our next event.
Okay, first of all, your assessment of this special track.
Well, it's a lot of fun, especially in the streets of Miami. I only live about 40 miles north of here, and it's a pretty convenient race for me instead of traveling all over the country. Got a lot of friends down here. It's real hot down here. The track's a lot of fun.
I hear dangerous. Is it?
Yeah, it can be dangerous. You know, you got to keep your head out there and not get out of hand. There's a lot of guys really trying to win and putting everything on the line, and with all these walls out here, you could get hurt if you don't take it easy.
What's behind you in this leather suit, and what's it take to be a driver of this level?
Well, it takes 100% dedication to what you're doing. It's a job, and you know, we're out here getting the best practice we can, and you know, it's a team effort, and everybody's got to pitch in the same amount, 100%. And Team Mad Dog and Hank Dow and everybody's put 100% towards this. Yokohama Tires really helped us out a lot in getting us everything worked out for the series, and it's going along real well.
What about the fear factor? What do you do with that?
Well, there's always fear, because if you don't have fear, then you're just going to be a wild man and crash all the time. So if you lose your fear around here racing, you're dangerous. So I try to keep some fear inside myself, and it keeps me level-headed.
Does it disappear, say, after the first lap?
Yeah, once you're out on the track, you know, you're not really that scared anymore, you know, relatively speaking. During practice, you try to put everything into consideration and realize what you're doing, that this is a very dangerous sport, and really calculate all your moves out there.
Are you, Michael, are you pleased with this week's performance?
Yes, I am. I had a really good race in the Superbike race. I wanted to finish top 10, and I achieved that. And the 600 Supersport race, I got second in my heat race behind Thomas Stevens, which I almost got him at the line, but we're going to go out and do it in the final where it really counts.
If someone said to you, Michael, you can't race anymore, what would you miss the most?
The adrenaline rush of it. I don't know what I'd do if I couldn't race.
Thank you, Michael.
This program was made possible by a grant from